Hello and welcome to my March budget recap. If you're new here, my husband and I are in our 30s and we have a 5-month-old daughter. I'm documenting our financial journey on this channel in hopes to keep myself accountable for following a budget, paying off our debt, and saving for retirement, and hopefully to inspire others to do the same. Where we left off on my March update, I had just received my first paycheck of the month and we had paid a few of our bills already. So let's take a look at what the rest of the month looked like and our final budget recap. So first of all, if you've seen my March update, you will know that I messed up with my paycheck and did not submit my timesheet on time. So I was paid for an entire 2 weeks of work. However, I was not supposed to be paid for those entire 2 weeks. I was supposed to be paid for 3 days using vacation time, and the rest of the time was supposed to be unpaid parental leave. However, I was paid for those full 10 days for $3,006.83. So my second paycheck in March, I was actually planning to take 3 days of paid leave for my second paycheck in March because I was overpaid for that first pay period. They did not pay me those vacation days since I received them in the first pay period, technically. So my second paycheck in March was for $49.40. And that is basically just the opt out money that I receive for not being on the healthcare plan provided through work. So that was significantly less than I was anticipating for our income. But my husband's income, as I mentioned in the update, he received his raise plus back pay from the beginning of the year up until this first paycheck. So that was a larger paycheck than we were anticipating of just over $2,400. And his second paycheck that hit our bank account was 1937.26. So again, this is 80% of his take home pay that hits the joint account, and he gets to keep and spend the other 20% however he wants to. The interest that we received this month was $42.07. I had a savings account that was earning 3.5% interest, but I think that was just a promotional rate because it has gone down to 1.5% interest. So I am looking around for a new high yield savings account to put our emergency fund and additional savings in. I mentioned in my update that we redeemed rewards and we have still not received our state refund. I went to the website and it told me that it was processed back on February 26th, and we should have received a letter in the mail telling us why our refund was declined. But I did not receive that letter, so I called the comptroller and they told me that I needed to submit copies of our W-2s and 1099s in order for them to approve the income tax return. So I submitted those. So hopefully in April, we will finally be seeing that tax refund. So we paid almost all of our debts at the very beginning of the month, but we had a second car payment come out, bringing our car payment totals to $622.14. Again, we pay this every other week. And same with my retirement account loan. That is supposed to come out of my paycheck. However, because my paycheck was so low, it did not come out, so I had to pay this manually because I don't know what would have happened if I did not pay this manually. So that was a $236.22 that I paid towards my retirement account loan during the second half of March. Our utility bill came out at $142, and this is going to be the last time that our utility bill is $142. Again, next month, if you've seen my budget with me, it's going to be going up, I think, to $184. for our electricity. We paid the car insurance. There's nothing new for that. No internet changes. And Acorns, they did not withdraw March's subscription. So this was the February subscription. It seems like they're more consistently withdrawing it at the beginning of the month as opposed to the end of the month like they used to. So just the $1 for February subscription was taken out this month. The FSA comes out of my paycheck, and that's $20 per pay. So with the second paycheck, another $20 was taken out of that. My husband's Roth IRA, he contributes $500 at the end of every month, and so that was taken out at the end of March. For my Acorns, so I mentioned how we were trying to save money because of our tight paychecks this month. And so I reduced my recurring Acorns contributions to just once a month instead of once every week. And so I only budgeted $10, once for the recurring amount and once for a roundup. However, I made a bunch of purchases this month. Usually my husband does all of the grocery shopping, but I was doing most of it this month. And so I made a lot of purchases with my linked cards to my Acorns account. And so I had a lot more roundups than I usually do. And so the actual amount contributed to Acorns this month was $33.43, which is about as much as I would have contributed had I kept the $5 recurring contribution on there. For our emergency fund, we were not able to save anything towards that this month because we have a more important goal that's more immediate and pressing. This month, we had to replace our roof. Along with replacing our roof, we are replacing the gutters and some of the upstairs windows that have signs of water damage. So it was pretty important that we got those windows replaced because we didn't know if that water damage was continuing to occur. So we're replacing some of the upstairs windows, and we replaced the roof already, and we will be replacing the gutters. Now, the total cost of that, initially we were quoted that it would be about $33,000, which is a lot. And in order to get that $33,000, we actually had to choose to have them cover over our skylights instead of having them replaced. It was going to be an extra $6,000 or $7,000 to have them replace our skylights, and we couldn't afford that, so we had them cover them over with plywood. So that reduced the cost a little bit. However, when they removed the old shingles, they noticed that all of the plywood was rotted out of the roof, and so they had to replace all of the plywood decking on the roof, and that added an additional $10,000. And so currently our roof replacement cost is $44,055. So I'm going to update our budgeted amount goal to $44,055 for this other category, which actually I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change it to new roof. So our new roof goal is $44,055. So hopefully when they replace the gutters and they replace the windows, they won't find any additional work that needs to be done, and that it will just be $44,055 in order to replace everything. We opted for the 12-month same as cash financing, so it will be 0% interest for an entire year. After that, I think it goes up to like 20% interest. So we are going to be intensely saving to pay off this roof within a year. So unfortunately, with our incomes as low as they are right now, this month we were only able to contribute $175 towards the new roof goal. Um, but hopefully, in the near future, we will be able to throw a lot more money at that and hopefully pay it off before the 1 year interest becomes due. So, um, for now, we're going to keep saving towards my daughter's 529, which is our goal is to save $5,000 a year so that we can write off that amount for taxes. If we contribute any more than that, we can only write off $5,000. We could contribute less than that, but our goal is to contribute $5,000 over the year. We didn't spend from any of our savings categories, so that's good. So for our sinking funds, we budgeted 700 for home and we put in 700 and we only spent 159.20. So that was great. So when the roof was replaced, I updated my home characteristics for our homeowners insurance. And when I did that, we actually got a pretty big discount on both our home insurance and our car insurance. So that was nice. And I also learned that I could get a $95 annual discount if I installed 2 smart water detection sensors in my house. So I had to buy the water detection sensors through my insurance company's approved vendor. And then once I set them up, then I could receive the $95 annual discount. And so those sensors were $109 for the 2 of them. And so I thought that was a pretty good investment. So that was part of the home purchases that we made this month, was buying those sensors, which will actually give us a discount on our homeowners insurance. For groceries, we budgeted $375. We were able to put $375 into that sinking fund, and we made a couple more grocery runs and we spent $289.92, which again was less than what we budgeted, which is always pretty great to do that. For car and gas, we budgeted $350. We put $500 in, and that was because I needed to get new tires and a new battery and get those tires mounted. And so I think this price was the new tires and battery, and then after the mounting, it came out to $980.47. I think that my husband has been using his personal card to buy gas for work. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or as an accident, but we actually haven't had any gas purchases this month. I need to talk to him about that, see what's going on. We budgeted $80 for gifts and donations. I didn't put any in it, and I didn't spend any. Even though it was my husband's birthday this month, I didn't take from the gifts sinking fund for his present. You'll see that I took it from another category. So for restaurants this month, we budgeted $35. We put $35 in there, and we spent $38.06, and that was to buy dinner for my husband's birthday. And for pets, we budgeted $20. We put in $20, and we didn't spend anything on pets this month. For baby, we budgeted $100. We put in $100, and at the beginning of the month, we had bought some items to continue working on her nursery, which was this $412 that you see here, but we had to make additional purchases. And that was because I am actually needing to go back to work in person. Initially, before I went on maternity leave, I was working about 75-80% remote. And so I was not planning on sending my daughter to daycare. We could have juggled our schedules, my husband and I, so that she could be home with me while I was working remotely, and he could be home working remotely when I had to go in to work in person, which was usually about once a week. However, the project that I'm getting put on when I return to work cannot be done remotely. So we had to find daycare at the last minute for my daughter. For now, she's going to be going part-time, and we made that initial deposit this month, bringing our total money spent from our baby sinking fund to $722.48. Moving forward, I'm not going to be pulling her daycare costs from her sinking fund. I am going to move it into a fixed expenses because we should know how much we'll be paying each month for her daycare. Clothing and personal, we budgeted $5. I didn't put any in there, but I took $16.01 out. I made some purchases on Amazon, one of them being my husband's birthday present, but I had a gift card on Amazon, and some of those other things were personal items, so I just threw everything I spent additionally into personal. For health, we budgeted $5. We didn't put any in there, and we also didn't spend any. So this sinking fund is for after we've exhausted our FSA, or for anything health related that doesn't fall under our FSA. We will use our health sinking fund for that. For travel and entertainment, we didn't put any in. We budgeted $15. We didn't put any in there, and we didn't spend any. For our phone, we budgeted $45. We already put $45 in there, and we didn't spend any. This is for renewing our phone plan that should be happening, I think, in August. And for miscellaneous, we budgeted $15. We'll put this remainder $942 in there so that our final budget is $0. And we didn't spend anything in our miscellaneous category. So that was my March budget recap. A little bit crazy with some of the unexpected expenses that came up and that will be coming up in the next couple of months. If you would like to see how my family handles this situation, please hit subscribe so you can follow along. In the coming months, we will be working hard to save up for our roof replacement, as well as balancing the increased cost of adding daycare to our budget. This is going to be pretty difficult for our family coming up, so I would really appreciate any support and encouragement that you have to give in the comments. Thank you for being here.